honor of this morning's Dark Magician support reveals, I figured we should probably go through and see how Dark Magician girls are holding up on the market. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more. Gonna leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys are thinking and when you be walking away with the booster pack. As per usual, I know I said Dark Magician girls, but we are basically all the support that's gonna bridge this stuff together. You know, the higher rarity stuff and so forth. So bond between teacher and student. You do know if this is if you control a Dark Magician, special some Dark Magician girl from the hand deck or a graveyard. Then we can set the Dark Burning Magic, you know, Dark Magic Attack, Dark Burning Magic. There's so many like cards that you can pull off of this thing, but quite honestly, I'm more impressed that it feels like this card is gaining more momentum now, because looking at $20+ for this is a little bit crazy in my opinion. But Dark Magician players, you guys know that like a card that specials and then sets an additional card is some pretty good advantage generation. But then once again, means you got to be playing Dark Magician and all this, you know, fun, fancy stuff. And then, of course, so we've also got to acknowledge the fact that the Dark Magicians and some of the other high rarity stuff, you've got an interesting take here on what was available in the high rarity stuff, because the Dark Magicians was available in both Starlight and Quarter Century. And now, obviously, the Starlight Rare is going to be a little bit more money than the Quarter Century. That's just because this is from the era of, well, you got 5 cards. Good luck out here trying to get the one that you actually are trying to pull. And I mean, let's call it what it is. This was from Battles of Chaos. You've also got the Dark Magician from this set as well, and of course Illusion of Chaos Starlights also moving around out here. So yeah, the little things out here to really be considering when the movement's be coming. Same thing out here. Your alternative to this, and I think this is my favorite part. All right, if you want to pick up the Starlight, yeah, congratulations. It's worth about 11 versions of this. This card's $11. All right, just think about that for a second. But yeah, you're looking at about $12 to $13 if you were to get a copy of the Dark Magicians as we speak right now. Pick your high rarity Dark Magician stuff if this is the stuff that you really, really want to have. Now, what about Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight? Well, I mean, remember, it's a Dark Magician Girl plus a Dragon Monster, which is always going to be relatively easy to generate if you are playing the base Tamias monster, which, I mean, it is what it is. But these are kind of expensive. These are $65 on up to $70 out here from this. Once again, I mean, this was from Bonanza. You've got to factor that in out here. Also, to the best of my knowledge, I think this version, did both versions of this actually get the altar? Maybe it was just the one. Well, let's go find out here, because I'm not the most well-versed in Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. I mean, yeah, there's that version. We also had the Quarter Century. I'll go into that here in a second. But yeah, it does look like that the alt art, 99 cents across the board. Actually, these are much more than that, I see. Yeah, these are about 11s to 12s if you were wanting to pick these up from the Dragon's Legend, the Complete series. That's kind of interesting. Also, nice Judge Field Center there. But moving on along here. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, $32. Once again, Bonanza out here doing absolutely its work. Looks like $34, and then you hit the $37 mark on this one. This is what Dark Magician plus a Dragon Monsters card name becomes Dark Magician while on the field and graveyard. Opponent cannot target small trap card control card effects. Also, they can't be destroyed. You know, for what this card does, it's very underwhelming, I feel like. But alright, let's see here. We've also got, so for those of you that have been paying attention out here, the actual base versions of the Dark Magicians, I don't know what I missed here, but these are evidently like $14 from this set. Did Dark Magicians have any other printings? Yeah, that's what I thought. We had the PCR, we had all of this. You know, that's kind of crazy to be seeing that the LED 6 versions are still being held up on a pedestal when you had all those other reprints get slammed down very, very hard. Interesting. Also, just for the flavor of this, the Dark Magician Girl, The Magician's Apprentice, for all intents and purposes, coming in at $117. I'm not really too worried about that, but the more you know. Dark Magician, the Knight of Dragon Magic. Now, this was your Dark Magician plus the level 7 or higher dragon or warrior monster. This thing, gets attacks defense mode monster, you get trample, and once returned, when your monster destroys opponent's monster by batting inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. And if this thing itself is destroyed, you can special summon both the Dark Magician and a Gaia the Dragon champion from your hand deck, extra deck, and or graveyard. That's really freaking funny that this was like their giant tie-in. They're like, hey guys, let's go ahead and toggle on into this. Actually, these are far less than what we have on the top end. Actually, these are interesting because once this chunk is gone, you're at $70 back on up to $75. And I can't really imagine that people are very, very smitten by the Dark Magician support that they wouldn't come through here and actually pick this stuff up. That's interesting. Now this one, I didn't really think about this. So Chaos Scepter Blast. So if you control a level 8 or higher spellcaster monster, banish one card on the field face down. If this card's owner spell and trap card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, we also summon a Magician of Black Chaos or a Dark Magician of Chaos from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions. Now, for what we have working on the market right now, you've got plenty of Italian versions here. These are $1.25s. These aren't too bad. But then you start to accelerate up here very quickly. Like, this was the thing that caught me off guard with this card, because these do very quickly hit the $4 mark. It's kind of scary. Also, some other little recommendations down here. I see we have the Dark Magic Twin Burst. This is target one Dark Magician you control gains attack equal to the combined attack of all Dark Magician Girls currently on your field and in the graveyards. Till the end of this turn, you can only activate one of these per turn, because if you resolve multiples of these, your opponent's probably dying. So you've got a definite, just what's available across the board here for this. This is not too bad. Definitely $3. I'm going to keep checking down here. Still can't believe Bond Between Teacher and Student. And it looks like Dark Magic Inheritance is also gaining a little bit of value for a common out here. By the way, it's banish 2 cards from your graveyard, add a spell and trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl on its text. Except for Inheritance, you can only activate one of these per turn. It's actually not bad, but these are hitting on up to $1, $2 out here. I guess you got to think about what versions of cards that you need in decks to have them be playable. And then, of course, for you, those of you that have forgotten, Dark Magical Circle, probably the best searcher out here. Look at this, $5. You got the $3 Secret Rares out here. You've got the 43 centers, the 30 centers. These do escalate on up to some pretty decently high values here, but it does look like, we're going to be maintaining out here. I'm surprised this thing didn't really get any higher rarities. And then, of course, we have Strength and Unity. So if you Ritual Summon or Fusion Summon using Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician, target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and we can send this face-up card to the graveyard to target a level 7 or higher normal monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, or shuffle it into the deck. Now, obviously, you can only use Strength of the Unity once per turn, but you're looking at 40 cents on this thing. Once again, you got to look at your niche cards out here that might possibly end up being worth something. And then, of course, how could I forget the Eye of Tamias? It's a nice little $3 card here. The reprint actually is worth a little bit. The dragon itself, look at both of these are worth something. But the big ones you care about, quarter century Eye of Tamias right now is going to be running you about $10 to $11, which I'm actually kind of surprised about this. Dealing with what we've been dealing with the Eye of Tamias out here, this card looks very good. It emphasizes way more of the artwork out here, and I really do like the way that this feels. But my gosh, man, I gotta give it to them. This card looks absolutely gorgeous for what it is. But then I personally prefer the Ghost Rare out here. You do lose a little bit of the glimmer and the shine, but then you come on down here and you realize, how much these cards have dropped. You can get a Ghost Rare Eye of Tamias right now for a $13 price point. And then obviously we accelerate on up to about 15 bucks, which is not the worst out here, to say the least. But man, you do have, for those of you that are just kind of looking around at this stuff, it's quite interesting just to be seeing what's going on out here. So I don't know, this should give you a little bit of an idea of what you might want to consider focusing on and having for the new Dark Magician support, or at least I hope so. But please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and of course, you know, guys, try to get in on the market stuff, decide what cards that you want, what variants of things that you want to have, so that you can have the perfect product for yourself. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.